Day 23, Narcissism. Now, I've been involved with narcissists in my life. They're in my family. I personally have some narcissistic tendencies from the perspective that I'm a pretty proud individual. I can get things done, but I certainly don't indulge in the extremes of, putting myself ahead of all others at all costs, or some of the more extreme things you've heard of. There's an argument that all women are narcissists, in line with their hypergamy, meaning that, the narcissistic relationship goes through three phases. It goes through the initial idealization, which is the honeymoon period, then the devaluation, which it'll oscillate between devaluation and idealization based on how alpha you are. And then ultimately, once your partner has decided that you no longer are her best choice, she will discard you, which is why you hear about so many relationships that seemingly end overnight. As in the case of this one, although this really didn't end overnight, it was a decline over a period of, as I mentioned in the past here, a 3 to 4 month period. We're fighting like a fighter pilot who's trying to get his plane out of a nosedive, and I just couldn't do it. It's funny, you look at a person's background, other women I've dated, they definitely had a history of, when you get together with a woman, the first thing she's doing is she's talking shit about everyone she's ever been with. That's sort of a giveaway. This one wasn't so much that way in as much, but she had a lot lower mileage on her. She'd been in a marriage for 15 years, had one rebound relationship out of the marriage with a bookwormy guy that I met who was a shadow of what I am. And so I felt that there was a chance this was different. But maybe I'm wrong. It's hard when if you read about narcissism, it talks about how they never love you. And as I said in the first video, in the link to TFM's page, she'll never love you. Because she'll never love you the way you love her. Even now, if my phone rang and she needed a kidney or her house was on fire or whatever, my codependency would just come to life and I would be there. Sick, really. Even now today, it's hard. It's just so hard being without her. On Sundays, I can remember us getting together with my children and hers. What a great day. We always had a great time, especially it's really hot right now in the summer. Swim in the pool, they'd come over, play hide and go seek. Just super terrific family times that you look at and you go, what was the problem? Why wasn't this so good? And it does to some degree feel you get angry, but you also get incredibly sad because thinking how someone can throw that away just because they want a better deal. But this is the price you pay for being with a woman in today's world. I was talking to my son today, and I have some friends who are Mennonites. And I sold some furniture. I'm in the furniture business. I sold some furniture to a young Mennonite man who was 35 years old, about. He had a nice little wife and 5 children, and God bless him. How much I would have loved to have had that life. Men, and in that society, those men have created a paradigm where it is the part of their social order that everybody stays together, and it is the society that keeps women integrous in it. In our current world, it is a tragedy that, to be honest, Women, at least in my experience, are run amok. Maybe men, according to some women's experience, but, you know, in this situation, you know, she's walking away because there's no one to hold her accountable. No one to hold her accountable other than her own hypergamy, which in this case, because I exhibited weakness, has validated her decision. And the only way I can bring her back is if she feels the sense of loss of me not being there. Because I feel that I am so much greater than the average man. That being said, narcissists don't seem to care. It's funny how, you know, a woman can put herself out there and she'll get any number of cucks who will just throw themselves at her. And, you know, I personally can't understand it because, you know, women get a lot of interest, but certainly they're more interest than men. Because, again, it's the 20% of men who date 80% of the women. And the quality of the men, though, it almost seems like, in this particular case, like I could go with, I've been on dates with some women and I'm still continuing to date, but in my mind they don't measure up, so I'm not going to give away the farm. I'm not going to, you know, just, I don't know. It's so confusing, guys. Like I said, this is therapy for me too, right? You know, maybe this thing won't work out. Maybe she won't come back. And I'll just look at this one day and just be like, this was my therapy getting out of it. And if you're in the middle of this, you got to be looking at this too, because our society in North America is fucked. It's fucked because women are not being held to a standard anymore. And that's what the rise of the MGTOW community is. You have a lot of men who've had enough. Now, I think they go a little too far. But on the flip side, you know, there's a lot of red flags in this relationship that I should have seen. Rushing intimacy, the extreme idealization. Like, I swear to Christ, you know, I could have started a cult and she would have been my secretary. She loved me so much, or at least that's the way she came off. And that's why this hurts so bad. This hurts so bad. You have to forgive me if I don't crack up. You know, we took a lot of videos we were together, and I can't look at those videos because it reminds me so much of that time that was so perfect. I felt like I was a god. So hard, so hard. Anyway, I'm practicing my law of attraction rituals because Neville Goddard says you can create your reality, and there's a lot of practitioners who say that, and it's like the Matrix. I don't know, it's so challenging, guys. It is really unfortunate that I give a shit. It is so hard, you know, everybody will say, oh, she was worthless, you know, just move on, da 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 da. But it is hard to rewire yourself when you care so much. And we men, we are the ones who care. We build civilizations because we care. Women bring forth life and nurture it for a short period. And then their job is to support their man who is doing everything. And this society is so skewed now. I'm not saying there aren't intelligent women out there who understand the value of commitment and really giving it for the long haul. But I'm terrified for my sons. I'm just terrified for them. Because I know they're going to want to have children. But just like me with their mother discarded me in the same way. I almost feel like I should join a Mennonite sect and just shut up and go with the flow, because it'd be very hard for me to personally to be in a Mennonite sect because, well, you do what they say. I mean, you can run a business and stuff, but so that would be very challenging for me. Even becoming a Muslim, it's almost like you just can't win. I almost have to rewire my mind to realize that the only thing I'm ever going to get that is close to my definition of complete love, which I've experienced in my life now about 4 or 5 times. It's that glorious 3 to 6 month period when they just love you so much and you just feel like you could do no wrong. How wonderful we could, if it exists out there, in a real way. That would be my hope. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening.